Welcome to another edition of Consensus Unreality. Before we get to tonight's episode, I'm going to direct you to patreon.com/consensusunreality. For just $5 a month, you can unlock over 150 hours of ongoing exclusive episodes, written content, our printed Journal of Shells publication, our Discord server, and more. So check that out. You'll get access to the second half of this interview immediately by signing up at patreon.com/consensusunreality. Thanks for listening, as always, and enjoy the show.
Oh, I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
And welcome to Consensus Unreality, the official podcast of Halloween 2025.
Oh, hell yeah. Calling the shot. I like it.
Yeah, it's getting scary out there.
Yeah. It sounds like it's getting scary in there where you are.
It's scary in my head right now, yeah.
Yeah. I like you got like a gristled beard coming in. It's a real like locking down for the cold front coming in.
For the rain.
Yeah. You look like a lighthouse keeper a little bit right now.
Feel like one, yeah.
Yeah. You got the kind of like a red flannel on too, a bit of a Shining vibe to you.
Yeah, I'm going a little mad. I just put together a new Apport catalog. Been kind of holed up doing that. Watching some horror movies.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really bad ones. I've been trying to watch ones where there's a scarecrow or a pumpkin head.
Oh, I watched Pumpkinhead recently.
But not Pumpkinhead itself. Like where it's just like a pumpkin for a head, or a jack-o'-lantern has to. I haven't gotten too far, but this was my like Halloween idea, was to just go real like scarecrow and pumpkin about it.
What's the Ken Russell movie? Oh, Gothic. I was on the last episode that we did for Patreon. I was trying to think of the third movie
what you watched?
I watched that day, and the movie in between the other two was Gothic, and that was
I watched
a lot
that
of fun.
a couple months ago. I love Gothic. Yeah, I think I talked about it, right? It's like the Frankenstein and the Dracula, and that's just kidding.
Yeah, the vampire.
With them, the Shelleys and the Byron.
Lord Byron.
That movie rocks.
Yeah.
Lord Byron's all horny and stuff. It's a really crazy movie.
It is a great movie. It's a underrated Ken Russell, because I think his other ones get a lot of the shine. Super fun, and it gets into that historical account of the horror contest that they had for writing through which those stories came channeled out of.
Pretty legendary. I feel like we should do that. We should get a couple people and hole up in a state and force each other to write the best scary story.
Yeah. What were they? They were drinking some kind of psychoactive beverage as well, too, right? At least that's in the Ken Russell flick. I don't know if that's...
What was it, like absinthe?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure
you ever have absinthe?
I have, yeah. I
liked it. It wasn't even that crazy. People like treat it like it's like a psychedelic, but it's really just strong.
Yeah. I think that's because they had like regulated the wormwood content for a while.
Yeah.
So there's more real variations of absinthe. It's been a long time, but I enjoyed it too. There's some great
drinks. I had it when I was in France.
Oh, look at you.
In an absinthe bar in a basement when I was like 19.
Hell yeah. When I lived in Jersey City, me and my friend used to go to a couple times this absinthe bar in St. Mark's, and that was pretty fun. They were always playing traditional Irish music. It was like an Irish bar that also had like a absinthe, the vessel that drips it out, which was pretty neat.
Does it drip onto sugar, or am I making that up?
Yeah, you drip it over a sugar cube is the way that you make the green fairy drink.
Right, yeah, that's what I remember.
There's
how
also
long it took.
Oh, yeah, true. You could also do a death in the afternoon is Ernest Hemingway's cocktail, and that was like absinthe and champagne and maybe Saint Germain or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absinthe. That might not have even been what they were drinking, but it's a good topic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of those people were drinking that though. I feel like it's associated with like the decadent writers and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. On that topic, I watched Bride of Frankenstein the other night.
Nice.
Man, I see now why that is considered by many to be the best of the Universal Monsters flicks.
Yeah.
It is remarkable. Like it's so beautiful. It's so funny, but also like, has that haunting drama in it as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Deep
Uh,
themes, great acting. It's fucking hilarious at moments too.
yeah, aren't they doing a remake of that?
I don't know. I'm not. I
I saw a trailer. It
when
looked
it
really messed up. It's
until
like
it's like
really
right in
goofy.
front of me, I don't like. I'm not paying attention to
Oh
that.
man, you should. Yeah, don't bother. Especially if you just saw the original. I saw the trailer when I went to see whatever it was I recently saw. Probably one battle after another or whatever. And it's I can't remember the director, but it's like one of those like real trendy people
Is
or
it like
something. I don't know.
Guillermo
It was like
del
very
Toro or somebody even newer than that?
newer than that. I don't remember, but it had like the vibe of like a musical, but I don't think it was.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
It looked dark, meaning not good. Uh, yeah, that's cool. That's a good one to watch. Recently I watched, have you ever seen The Golden Fern, a Czech movie?
No, I don't think so.
I loved it. It was insane. It's about a like a woodsman who goes out into the woods and he finds this golden fern and the fern drops a seed and it turns into a beautiful fairy elf woman.
Oh,
And it's about their kind of like courtship and the impossibility of them actually being able to be together. But it's just like shot very beautifully. It's very, allegorical feeling and the way they shoot the fern itself is really cool because it's black and white, but they kind of give it this effect that where you can tell that it's gold. I don't know. It's like a very like sweet, strange fantasy movie.
mm.
Been really into the Czech stuff lately too. You ever watch Prague Nights?
No, I've never seen it.
It's like one of those anthology films
Hmm.
where it's like a horror anthology thing, and it's like this kind of bumbling rich guy in Prague, like kind of lusting after this woman who like keeps kind of putting him off by telling him different stories about Prague. And the first one is this unbelievable Gollum tale with like the way they show the Gollum is really interesting and obviously, has to do with the special effects and budgetary concerns of the day, but makes it more effective, I think. It's just a really crazy, crazy little anthology series. So yeah, I've been in the world of the Czech lately.
Nice. What you have you watched any other horrors for the season?
Yeah, well, and then the other Czech thing I watched was the Pied Piper. It's like a stop motion thing. Have you seen that?
No.
That is actually like unbelievable. That's like they're made of like wood and metal, and they're these like this very expressionist looking. It's like the classic Pied Piper of Hamelin by Browning tale with a very not malicious but kind of harsh cast to it. And it's like it's done entirely in this made up language. At first, I was like, is this what their language sounds like? That can't be true. But then it turns out it's like he made up a language for the film, which was really cool.
Nice. Nice. Very
Um,
nice.
it's just like real looking rats, and then everybody else looks like a expressionist painting made out of wood and metal.
Wow. That sounds great. I'll have
Yeah,
to check that out.
yeah, that's wonderful. As far as horror, what else is going on in the horror world? You ever watched The Dark Night of the Scarecrow?
No.
It's like a revenge film, basically. It was directed by Frank De Felitta, who's like a relatively prolific horror novelist. Um, and I guess he directed a couple of films too. And it's just about like these bumpkins who kill a mentally handicapped guy after accusing him of killing his friend who is like a little girl. And then the spirit of the guy comes back as a scarecrow and kills them in like I want to say like occupationally appropriate ways for each one of them.
Hmm.
Like the big fat farmer is buried in a silo or whatever, with like the corn, like stuff like that. But it's just like a scarecrow horror slasher thing, revenge film.
Nice.
That was fun. Yeah, that's what I watched last night.
You know what?
I watched what? Go ahead.
You know what I've been checking out? Is
What?
the Munsters. Um,
Like the original series?
yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds
Nice.
me of when I was a kid and reruns would be on. Um, I'm not sure what channel they would be on, but I loved watching it when I was a child, and I've been catching up with some of that again. Just kind of keeping it light because I don't want to watch some like really scary shit before I go to bed every night. But
Right. No, you don't want to do that.
it's nice to have a little horror themed lightheartedness. But yeah, it's like a really funny
Yeah.
show actually. Like some of the humor is excellent.
Yeah, Eddie Munster.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember from the show. There's somebody named Eddie Munster. That always struck me as funny. I don't know why. What was
He's
it?
a werewolf, and
Right, yeah,
his
and he has like
mother is a
a hairline.
vampire, and his father is Frankenstein's monster,
Right.
but he's a werewolf.
Um, I watched this thing called The Treatment, which is like a 2010s Belgian thriller. It was very, very disturbing. I was
Hmm.
like, this is like this. Somebody said I saw like an article where someone was like, "This was the scariest movie I ever watched." And so I was like, "I guess I'll watch it." And then it was scary that it's about, you know, abusers of young boys is what it's about, in Belgium, and just like, and like the villain is like a weird like hormone alchemist who's afraid of like getting contaminated with female hormones, and so he's like abducting little boys. It was like, and I stayed up to like 2 a.m. watching it, and I was like, that was, and then the ending is like extremely bleak.
Oh, jeez,
And I don't, so then I was like, oh, I guess this person said it was the scariest movie they ever watched because it's
disturbing.
about the darkness of man, which is not what I really consider scary. I was like, oh, that's like unpleasant. I
I
wasn't
thought
like, I'm not thinking about it like as a scary. I'm just like, oh, great. Now I have to remember this movie where there's all this stuff I don't like to think about.
Yeah, but that those definitely are the scariest films to me are the ones that are disturbing and like stay with you, like um
Yeah, it doesn't feel like horror though. It feels more like
yeah, yeah.
I don't really know. It feels like in my mind there's a distinction between like torture porn or whatever they call it, and then like an actual horror film that has, even if it's just a slasher, like it has like horror. I don't know. It has like, I just feel like there's a distinction in my mind where one is more legitimate and interesting than the other to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I'm thinking of the film the Danish film The Vanishing is like probably one of the most effective disturbing films, and it's not gory at all. Like it's not there's certainly torturous elements, but it's not a gory film.
Yeah.
But once you watch it, it like stays with you forever. It's a very disturbing, but in it like done in a brilliant way because it like the tact that it's made with almost like isn't suspenseful. Because it
Right.
shows like both perspectives. You'll see what I mean if you watch it, and it's not like uh very thrilling either. There's just something very bleak and disturbing
Hmm.
about it that conceptually like sticks to you, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually have not been able to stop thinking about that movie, Lisa and the Devil, that I talked about, the Bava film. I talked about it last time. That was a genuinely disturbing movie while also being like a horror movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a point that I'm going to die on the hill of, but I just feel like this movie, the treatment I watched, it felt like, True Detective
Mm.
or something like that, where it doesn't feel like horror to me. It feels like the darkness of the human spirit, or, and like it just, I don't know, it's almost like its own genre.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing in the first True Detective season too. It kind of feels like the darkest parts are left out of like in the background of the show, or not
Yeah.
actually in the show, but the implications are the darkest part of that show, maybe.
Right. And it kind of uses horror like conceits to talk about something else. True Detective, I mean.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was just watching before we started a made for TV, no, maybe not, just like a maybe straight to video 1995 film called Jacko, which is about
Jacko.
yeah, about a pumpkin-headed killer.
Nice.
It's terrible. Like the acting is unbelievable. And so that's been nice. But like everyone's dressed so 1995 like, which is kind of funny because that's kind of how people dressed like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now people dress like they're about to hear that the Twin Towers have been hit. I've been noticing some serious weird throwback stuff
Mm.
on people
Well,
lately.
yeah, the Y2K thing was popping off for a few years. Fashion is like we've been on the event horizon of a black hole in terms of fashion
It's so fast.
for a long time now. Yeah, but it's just like these looping reverberations too now.
I know.
Yeah.
When are we gonna get like IPA hipster again? That's got to be like next year, if we're like on track for the sort of Ouroboros of it.
Yeah. The vest and the like
The
a
vest and the bow
chain
tie.
wallet yeah, and a
Yeah,
little fedora. Nice. Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yeah, that's cool. Halloween's coming up. Gonna get this one up before the great big day. Are you got any plans for the celebration?
Well, I'm trying to go up to Massachusetts for a book sale at my favorite shop on Wednesday and Thursday, but I don't know if I'm scared about this rain.
You're so insane. I when I tell like the story of I had this insane trip
Yeah, no, I
over
know.
the weekend where I went to Lilydale, um, the psychic community, the medium community in Western New York, and then I stayed in a cabin in the woods in the Allegheny State Forest of New York by myself, and
That's cool.
it was raining the whole time, and you're tweaking out over some rain on the highway
Rain
to
on the highway.
Massachusetts.
I'm having like an OCD uh, spiral about everything. So that's just the latest manifestation. No Halloween plans. It's nice that it falls on a Friday, so the option is there. I don't,
Mm.
so we'll see.
Oh, you should go
I
to the drive-in. The drive-in's doing an all-night
uh,
showing till dawn, brother. I would
till
go.
dawn.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What are they showing?
It's they didn't post the lineup. Talking about the Mahoning Drive-in in
Yeah,
kind of between Ben and I's locations in Pennsylvania. Um, yeah, till dawn. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I'll be in New
yeah.
York hanging out with a friend and gonna visit some historic pubs and maybe bump up against the Halloween parade, and then there's a big show in Brooklyn that night where I'm excited to see some noise sets and
It's unk behavior.
yeah, I don't know what is.
Going to pubs. I'm
You
just
don't
kidding. It's
get to
funny though.
say that. You are literally scared of rain on the highway. It's
That's not unk
you're like
behavior.
beyond unk. Yeah,
Yeah.
pop pappy.
I'm not scared. I'm stressed. Um, yeah, no, that's cool. I've never been to the New York Halloween parade. Have you?
Me neither. Yeah,
Huh.
I'm
I bet
curious.
it's cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to just like bump into some of that during the day, maybe. But
Are you gonna have a costume?
I don't think so. Maybe I'll bring a mask or something. I enjoy the festivities. I love the damn holiday, but I'm like not the best Well, actually, I've had some good costumes over the years, but
Yeah, I haven't dressed up in years.
it's such a
Uh,
commitment, you know?
I see people dressing up in ways that are so alien to me. The effort. I just don't. They're like painting their faces.
Yeah, the face paint
They're
is you really got to like to make a good costume, you often have to paint your face and then
they're sewing. They're constructing things. They're using 3D printers. They're buying swords on eBay.
oh
It's
my god.
unbelievable what I'm seeing out here.
This is a boomer cast right here. They're using 3D printers.
They're using 3D printers to make hats. Uh, they're I don't know what they're doing. They're wearing their pants really low. Um,
Nice. Um
no, yeah, we love Halloween. Halloween's cool,
it
and it,
is
it
the
really does
best.
feel. It feels. It's a time of year that does feel charged,
Oh
and not
yeah.
just because of the goofiness of it. You know, the capitalism of it. It
It's
feels
like
almost atmospherically
it's kind of the
charged.
lowest on the capitalist totem of holidays.
You ever hear of Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, sure, but I mean, it's like a mom and pop kind of corporation business.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Uh,
Yeah, it's not
not gonna
Christmas.
read into that one too much, but yeah, I don't
What,
know,
mom and
like
pop?
how what Spirit Halloween's distribution network is. I don't need to peel back that veil, but the real veil between life and death actually does feel like the thinning of the veil. That concept, that adage that people say about this season, like I don't know. I think you get to a certain point in your age, you really do start to like feel that, and I'm sure people feel that at any age, but I've started to feel it more when you know start to encounter death more in your life and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
that crossroads becomes more open. And this time of year, you certainly do feel the power of that in the world. It's pretty amazing.
yeah. It's what runs the world. Fear of it and respect for it, maybe. I don't know. Um, staving it off. I feel a lot of that lately. I feel like, not to get political, but I feel like our country is in the weird stage of staving off death. That's what it feels like. It feels like a hardening of the carapace against the inevitability of decline,
Yeah, I
which is
think
already ongoing.
we're certainly experiencing nation states going through a sort of cornered animal sentiment in terms of resources and things like that, which I think is kind of
Yeah,
driving a lot of the real motivations of what's going on in the world and things like that.
for sure. Oh well.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting times.
yeah. So I did this trip that this weekend, and I saw some incredible things and had like some really insane synchronicity stuff up until this morning.
Hmm.
Which today is my birthday too. Happy birthday to me. Ben did not wish me happy birthday.
Sure I did.
Pretty cold.
I
And
wished you happy birthday. I said happy birthday.
pretty cold. It came pretty late,
Yeah.
but no, it's fine. But yeah, so I drew I so I I was kind of apprehensive about going on this trip just because it was a really long drive. My car has my faithful car, my beautiful car, that wild horse of mine has 260,000 miles on it at this point.
Getting
Uh,
up there.
yeah, so I get a little weary about taking it into the mountains 7 hours towards Buffalo. But I bolstered myself up and I was ready to go on Thursday morning. And I start driving, and lo and behold, about 10 minutes away from my house, every time I accelerate, my car is like incredibly loud. Like I'm like, something is wrong. And my immediate thought was, oh my God, somebody stole my catalytic converter, which,
Yeah.
where I live in the capital of catalytic converter theft. Like it centralizes around literally the area that I live in the city that I live. And I know people that it's happened to, and that's what it sounds like. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this some sort of sign telling me like you're not going, or you have to push through this to get there? But the nice thing is my father's an auto mechanic. He's been an auto mechanic his entire life. Still working under cars, and he's retiring this spring finally. A laborious lifestyle, a young man's labor for sure. But I took my car to his shop, and we put it up on the lift, or rather, he put it up on the lift. I didn't really do anything. And my exhaust had split, so it rotted out, and my exhaust split, which was kind of a better thing than having my cat converter cut out. But it was also kind of created a problem of like, are we going to have to get these parts? And maybe I'll go tomorrow. And at this point, tomorrow was when I was going to Lilydale, which is even further west.
Yeah.
Near Lake Erie for some of their fall sessions, which was a table tipping seminar, and Shannon Taggart and somebody else were doing an orb photography seminar, which I had signed on for, and I'll talk about those in a bit. So yeah, to leave on Friday would have been, a Herculean road, and just really crazy. An extremely long day, and I don't know if it would have been possible. But anyway, my dad and his fellow mechanic partner, like really quickly and kind of like almost like magic, like it was incredible. They just like hobbled together this piece of corrugated steel and like patched the exhaust. And it was like so incredible. Actually, I feel like that was like supposed to, it was so funny because it was this, what felt like a terrible thing. I was like, oh my God, am I cursed? Like somebody stole my catalytic converter. This is awful. How is this happening to me? Like on the day of this trip. And it just felt like it was like this terrible cursed sign. But then like once they did this and they got to work, I was like, oh man, like I feel like I'm meant to see this. Like I'm meant to see my dad doing this work that he's done his entire life to like, support our family. Like I get to see this in the most magical way of like them like just patching this together it like so quickly, and it was just incredible. It was pretty emotional, especially since my dad's retiring.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment actually, and that kind of was the first synchronous thing. Especially considering Lilydale, is so much surrounded about like the communication with lost loved ones. Right. And that's really like, I mean, that's from my experience there, like that's why people go there. Like most people, or maybe people go there because they feel that they have psychic abilities. And I'm sure a small percentage are just genuinely curious about, other worlds and the paranormal and the psychic world and things like that. But for the most part, I got the impression that people are going there because they lost somebody, or, even like they lost a pet that they loved or something like that. And they want to reconnect. And yeah, so for that synchronicity to start the trip, it felt so in league with the tone of the rest of it, and that sort of familial connection to loved ones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then I got, the drive was great, and I got up to the cabin. If you're ever driving across Pennsylvania, like do not take the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It is a really ugly ride, and you'll have to go through the Flight 93 crash, and like,
oh yeah,
it's like, because it goes through the southern part of Pennsylvania, it's not ugly, it's just like very flat. But if you take the no tolls route across Pennsylvania, you'll go on Highway 322, which is like really one of the most beautiful parts of the country, in my opinion. Like it's these, just going through like winding highway of, the mountains, and the leaves were just in perfect, autumnal bloom or descent rather.
Yeah.
And it was just so gorgeous each way. So I totally recommend that. I mean, when I say that, I really feel that it's one of the most beautiful parts of the country. Like I have an affinity for the smaller mountain ranges of the East Coast, especially the Appalachian and stuff, because they're some of the oldest mountains in the world, and that adds to the spooky
Yeah.
factor and all the lore. So it's
They're
all it's
dense.
what's that?
They're dense,
Yeah. So
packed with spirits.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've accumulated so many spirits over
Yeah.
that long haul. So I always feel that to me is a really gorgeous region. So yeah, I got up to Lilydale on Friday, and I got there really early and just explored and walked around by myself and went on some walks through the woods. There's like a cool ferry trail with like little fairy houses and the sculptures and stuff like that. And I checked out the old buildings. And man, some incredible houses there. Like I didn't want to be like a voyeur and just taking pictures of people's houses, because I'm sure that's like
Yeah.
it's got to be weird. 'Cause you have to imagine like I haven't thought about a lot of the details of Lilydale, because like you watch the documentary and you understand that it's like this place where psychics live and they hold all these events, and there's a lot of registered mediums that you can have sessions with. But I never thought about the fact that you have to consider that there's probably people who have inherited houses there and live
Yeah.
there, and like, I don't know, maybe aren't as into the attention or into the whole
Right.
thing. Like it's still a neighborhood. Like it's a place where people live and don't know everyone else. So like there has to
Sure.
be regular neighborhood, like like what the way that you think about your neighbor, or I think about my neighbors. I don't know them. Like you kind of maybe it's
Right.
more communal there, but there's still that, and you forget all of that, which is creates a really interesting dynamic, I think. Um, but so yeah, I walked around a bunch, and that was awesome, and it's a really beautiful, serene place. It's pretty empty this time of year, because I think that a lot of the people that are going through there are seasonal. So it definitely slows down, from what I understand, as it gets colder. And I went into this octagonal house for the table tipping session. And this was really such a crazy experience, man.
Yeah. Who ran that?
I I have to look up her name. I'll get back to you on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
the name, as I talk through this. But well, let's see. I have it here. Pausing for a second, because I do want to give her name. Actually, she did an excellent job, and she's like Susan Barnes. I imagine she's been working out of Lilydale for a very long time, and has done table tipping in the
Mm.
UK and in the States, and gave a really wonderful presentation on the history. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it's when 2 to like 8 people have their hands lightly on a table and are sort of talking to the table and singing to the table, assuming that some spirit will move its power over this table and physically move the table, levitate the table, rock the table, create knocking sounds in the table. If you've ever watched the Philip Experiment documentary, you'll see incredible examples of this. We talked about the Philip Experiment on an episode a couple of years ago, but it's on YouTube, and you could see some incredible footage of
Yeah.
table
It's so
tipping.
wild.
Yeah, and kind of the thing is, like, it's a very, I think when you think of like seances and stuff, you think of this, or maybe I do, or I did in the past, think of this like austere environment, like almost meditative. But the table tipping, especially in the Philip experiment videos, like it's very raucous. There's like loud singing and it gets noisy, and like the table is moving all around the room, and all of that. And that actually happened in this session that I was in, because like when I sat down in there too, it was a room. Not that this matters, but of course, like I just have like a little bit of social anxiety. So I had like meeting anxiety. It almost felt like I was in a meeting for work,
Right.
because we're in this
Yeah.
bright room and these chairs, like in a circle. And there's 3 plastic picnic tables and 1 wooden table in the room. It's a room of mostly women, and then there's like me and like 2 other guys. And after the presentation, we broke off into groups, and I was about to get at this one table, and then this woman pointed at me, and then she like beckoned me over to her table. And then that's when I realized too, I'm like, oh wait, I'm in a room full of people who are either psychic or consider themselves psychic for the most part. It was like mostly
Right.
mediums, which is also hilarious and kind of like a little daunting to think about, because then
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, intrusive thoughts are coming in. Like how much vibe could I possibly give off that's gonna like get me in
Right.
trouble here or something like that. But it was cool. It was 4, maybe 4 or 5 of us at this table, and there was one older woman who I believe was a medium there for a long time, and we were like, the table did get moving, like as we were talking to it, and through like these different movements of, especially this one woman who was getting to this really meditative zone, kind of like channeling her loved ones. And I think she was like, deep generations into Lilydale too, she had said.
Yeah.
And when she was doing that, the table was really like, there was a lot of movement, a lot of rocking. There was some funny stuff too. Like the older medium next to me was singing "Shake, Shake, Shake Your Booty," and that's what she kept singing. And
Why?
I don't know, they were like funny, and the
Yeah.
table was like, it was shaking and stuff. But all the while, like our table was pretty tame, and the person next to me was kind of implying that, like, if like maybe we have a quieter, more timid spirit at our table or something like that. And it was like you could feel that our vibe was like more like there were moments of power. I'm too shy to like really pop questions or start asking the table stuff, obviously. So I'm just kind of going with it. But there was a lot of interesting moments of movement. But meanwhile, like there's a table next to us with like 7 people on it. This thing was fucking going all over the room. It was like
Huh.
bouncing up and down, like it felt like it was like walking, bouncing, like that kind of stuff.
Weird.
It went basically like they almost brought it out. Well, I'm saying they almost brought it, or it brought them. However you want to look at this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people on a picnic table here, so you could take my. I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm not saying that. I'm not really implying that the table is moving itself or it wasn't. There's a lot to unpack with that. Certainly, there
Yeah.
could be some subconscious movements that are happening, in the group think or something like that. That's creating the movement of the table. All kinds of explanations could be had, but this table was going crazy, and it brought them out the front door nearly with the table. It was insane, and the room was like raucous. Like we had to get up from our table because the table was like going all around this octagon space. It's really
That's
insane to
wild.
see. Yeah, I was
Yeah. I
like,
can't imagine.
I just wanted to. Because I was there to observe. Like it was fun
Yeah.
to partake, and I didn't want to just be like, well, I'm just watching. Like you have to partake if you're gonna be
Oh, yeah.
there, and it's good to like break that seal and kind of like step outside of yourself, step outside of your comfort zone, and get involved in all that in general. But I did want to just like get up and just watch what they were doing because it was so interesting. Like they were standing up and it was just like seriously like bouncing and like jumping and like
Yeah.
it was crazy. I mean, it was really wild. A really wild thing to see and experience.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. I mean, I'll get up there eventually, but yeah, that's crazy. That's like a part of the whole seance thing I never really understood. And yeah, I don't I don't know what forces are doing that. Why tables? I guess because they're there. I don't know.
I think if you're gonna go up there, like do that. Because that is such a weird, as you said, that is such a weird part of the history. And I
Yeah,
think it's such an active one, and it is conceptually so contentious too.
right,
Like there could be such arguments to be had on both sides of what is going on there. Um,
right.
Whereas like mediumship, I think it's kind of maybe more of a trust thing, and then I'm sure that there are certain things that are said that have people believing more than others and stuff like that. But the table
Yeah.
tipping is just like it's a weird, bizarre sort of like channel dance almost. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds almost like a weird subconscious collaborative dance, if that's what it is, or it's a channeled dance. Yeah, like something else. But yeah, the way that it guides people's bodies through a room is really interesting.
It was crazy, man. And like there's a lot of older people in the room. Like the median age in there, was definitely like over 50.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe being generous. But the girl that was next to me, she was maybe about my age, and I think she was we had some great conversations at our table too after things slowed down a bit, and but while we were in our session, she looked to me and she's like, "Do you have a question?" And I was like thinking I did have a question like burning in my head, and my question was like, "Is the spirit did the spirit ever incarnate a human body?" And for me, that kind of meant like, is this an elemental? Is this sort of like some embodiment of energy?
Yeah.
Um, is this a demon? Is this I don't know, like is this some sort of conscious entity that was never human? Or is this
Right.
energy? Is it just energy, like coming from us? Is
Mm.
sort of what was I was compacting into this question that I didn't know how to ask, and felt weird too because the way that a lot of like they're framing everything there. I don't want to generalize, but the what I got in this short session is that the framing is usually the consensus is that these are deceased spirits of people or
Right.
animals, but like things that were incarnate in life form. And so my question was kind of not fitting that character, and that's what was also sort of stopping me from asking it. But she called me on it, like she knew it was there, and I did ask it, and she initially said, "Yeah, that's funny because the table is kind of moving around like a dog." But then later, like she also was like, "But I know what you meant. You didn't mean it was like a dog, did you?" And I was like, "No, I
Yeah.
didn't." So that was really cool. And they were
Huh.
also talking about some seances that they had in the attic of like the older medium next to me, her house and stuff. And just some incredible stories. Like it's such an amazing place that keeps alive like the kind of like people that you want to meet just in the world, like who are just so like into the deep end of like weird stuff, like they're all
Yeah.
just
Right.
there and they're just doing it. So
Yeah.
that's so awesome. And it's just awesome to be inundated in those kind of stories and those experiences.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, like that was so cool. Um, but yeah, that was just a really wild one, man. a really strange time, that table tipping session. Uh, it was really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'd love to do that sometime. Do you feel like you, I mean, did it feel like there was a intelligent presence to it, or did it feel more like a natural phenomenon, or what was it?
I don't I don't know. Because the movements on our table were subtle, yet like I was, very intently having my hands very lightly on the table, as to
Yeah.
not like have subconscious movements myself in terms of like rocking the thing. And I trust that the people that I were with were like that as well. And this table really did, like, even our table just did get these like strange movements where it started to feel like the table itself was like the top was like bending it with a fluidity,
Yeah.
um I don't really know. I don't have a definitive, like, I didn't feel totally that there was a person on the other end like guiding the movement of our table, but I mean, who's to say? But it was just so interesting to see the other table going off, and there were people in the room who, like, afterwards we kind of broke out of our sessions and went back into the larger circle, and a lot of people had felt more definitively that things were behind the movements of the table that they were on and stuff. Um, so I don't
Weird.
know. I think I have like it's weird because I feel like such a devil's advocate in terms of this stuff, where if I'm with somebody who's like a super sort of rational atheistic type of person, I'll obviously be the champion for the existence of the paranormal,
I should hope
or
so.
yeah, all of that. But if I'm
Yeah.
with like when I see the utmost belief, like the definitive, like I know this is happening because of this reason, then it like triggers the
Yeah, sure.
skeptical other side for me.
Yeah, of course. This is, I don't know why I just had this thought, but I was thinking about our Ouija stuff, and that, so this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like if I don't know if we've talked about it yet, but when it said Voynich, do you
Mm.
remember? I mean, you remember that, of course.
Yeah,
I feel like, so he was he was a antiquarian book dealer, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the the manuscript itself ended up in like a in Yale's rare book library. So I feel like this weird code word that kind of talks about both of our kind of like career paths.
That is fucking weird, actually. Yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah, the manuscript's in the Beneke Yale library, but Voynich himself was a antiquarian book dealer who gave the name to the manuscript, and so maybe it was talking about him as opposed to the manuscript itself.
yeah. No, I've thought on that line as well, because at my job I've encountered many books and manuscripts that had the book plate of Voynich.
Right.
That came, at were one time like in his collection and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
I know
Yeah. I
that
need to
is
get
like
back
the
into it.
thread. It's a thread between us too, Voynich.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to figure that out. Or at least look into it more. I feel like there's something else there. Because
That
we were
is
deep
weird.
in that
Yeah,
for a
and I think
while.
the question was, what is? It was something like, what is the purpose of this, or like what could guide us on our path?
Yeah.
And the Ouija board spelled out Voynich, which we were like, oh fuck.
Yeah, we have to get back. We gotta back on the board.
Yeah, for sure. Especially
We got,
now, such a
yeah. Right.
when
That
when all the
reminded me of
pods
that.
are getting hot on demonizing such things, we should get
Are
back
they?
on it. Yeah, well, we got Tucker on his demon
Oh,
thing and
right, right,
shit.
right.
Yeah,
We gotta get back on the board. I
yeah,
don't know. I want to keep saying that. Huh. Yeah, I don't. I guess the table tipping thing reminded me of that, and the way that you hold it. It seems so. It seems like almost the same. I mean, I'm just imagining this, but it seems like the way that you put your hands on a planchette almost.
absolutely. Yeah, it
Yeah.
100% is. you're totally right in that, and I like that there's this similarity in movements.
Yeah.
Spiritualism is so cool, and it's like it's just such an interesting vector of
Yeah.
this stuff that we look into, because it was like such a time of innovation, and it's just like it's an artistic movement as much as it is a, a religious or spiritual movement, you know, because like it was like coming up with these weird techniques to
Mm.
communicate and to represent things.
I've been looking into this spiritualist. I have like a photo album from them. This spiritualist group, later spiritualist from like the 20s, called the Jansenists, who were led by Helen Butler Wells. Um, and she was one of those trance medium artists. So like
Mm.
it was like very kind of intricate, weird automatic drawings. Um, I just got that in the mail today. I'm considering it's kind of like on loan. I'm looking into it right now, deciding whether or not I want to try and sell it or what. But yeah, it's like a photo album about this group, the Jansenists, and kind of weird that that arrived today. But yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I'm kind of in this spiritualist realm, and the later spiritualists are interesting too, like because they were active like in the 20s, 30s, and 40s,
Right,
which
right.
is popularly past the sell-by date of sort of classic American spiritualism. But I think it kept going and it got weirder.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, and to do a little advertising too. Today I was working on our Journal of Shells Volume 6, which is our printed publication available on patreon.com/consensus unreality in our print club tier. You'll get all the other Patreon benefits, which includes over 150 hours of exclusive episodes. But our printed Journal of Shells it's a printed zine. This one's probably going to be over 40 pages again. It includes new writings and archival texts. And for the archival texts, I've found some great spiritualist stuff that I'm really excited to present in this volume. It's
Nice.
also going to include a standalone booklet from another a contemporary writer and researcher who is presenting a sort of treatise on Thelema and Christian mysticism, which is a very interesting piece. I'm very excited about that, so check that out. I think maybe now's a good time to jump over to Patreon. I would like to talk about the second half of that trip and a really strange synchronicity that happened this morning, that had to do with some of the geomancy experiments I've been doing recently with map
Huh.
scrying and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Something sort of apported, which is a term that you're familiar with and that was used a lot in the table tipping session at
I bet.
Lilydale as well. So yeah, we'll hop over there. I'm also going to talk about Shannon Taggart's amazing orb photography session on Patreon. So if you're not a Patreon member, check us out on there. We do so much content on there, and we get really into the weird on there. It's the only way you can support what we do. So if you enjoy the show, consider joining up. If not, we'll catch you on the next public episode. Thanks for listening. Have a happy Halloween. And we're back. Guess what I've got here, Ben?
Back.
I got a little pint of the black gold.
You have oil in your cup?
I love the bit. Yeah. So after that table tipping session, there was an hour break off, and I kind of chilled and walked around, and then got to meet with Shannon Taggart in person, which
Oh
was
yeah,
so awesome.
Shannon's great.
She's just doing such incredible work in terms of the archival history of Lilydale and things like spirit photography, but also kind of pioneering like academic what do I want to say here, scholarship sort of on things like orb photography, like just
Yeah.
really compiling like the new history of things like that. And this was a really cool seminar because orb photography is obviously one